Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. This is episode 337 of the Auto Detailing Podcast, and actually for having that many episodes, it's really difficult to come across first times. But for the first time, we've had someone not only who's been in business for 45 years, I guess I take that back. I did have Barry McGuire, McGuire's has been around since 1901. But I've never quite had an episode like this where a guest, and this guest is Joe Kennedy, just gives like idea after idea after idea after idea. And you've probably seen the title of this episode, the best detailer doesn't win, the best marketer does. And yes, that's a little clickbaity, but also it's the truth, right? And so we discussed that phrase, and he just gives marketing after marketing after marketing tips. So big thanks to Joe Kennedy for sharing all those, really, because he can just keep them close to his chest if he wanted to. So not only that, but today's episode is brought to you by Auto Fiber. Auto Fiber, and my favorite towel is the Dreadnought. I have it around all the time, and has quickly become the towel that I actually reach for when I need to dry a car quickly and efficiently. And I've just used it on a ton of towels, and it's never lost ton of towels. I've used it on a ton of cars, and it's never lost its ability to absorb. It's a huge towel. Probably would work great as a bath towel, to be honest. But I haven't quite tested it out on using it as a bath towel if I go to the pool or after a shower. But it's very soft, no streaking issue. Just an incredible towel. I really am blown away the more I use it, because it's the closest thing that really resembles from the absorbency standpoint as a chamois, right? So I know chamois are very taboo now, and this towel has nothing else in common with the chamois other than maybe the size and the absorbency. So don't confuse it with a chamois at all. But anyway, you can pick up the Dreadnought at autofiber.com. Of course, you can use code Jimbo. I also have a nice handful of them in my inventory as well for jimbodaily.com if you choose to do that. Anyway, Autofiber has not only the Dreadnought, but a bunch of other towels that are phenomenal. So if you're confused with any products and towels out on the market, you can't go wrong with any Autofiber selection. So with that said, here we go in this marketing episode with Joe Kennedy. Here we go. All right, welcome to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host. Super excited to have a really meaningful conversation with a gentleman by the name of Joe Kennedy. He owns Joe Kennedy's Auto Beauty Center in Buffalo, New York. Joe, welcome to the Auto Detailing Podcast.
Hey, it's an honor, Jim. I've listened to many of your podcasts over the last couple of weeks, and I was very much interested in doing something like this with you because I noticed that within every podcast you did, you were just so humble, and you were always willing to learn and listen. And I think that's one thing that we all have to do today.
I appreciate it, and we've had a lengthy conversation offline, or off from recording, and we have so much in common. And I think, I could say the same exact thing about you. You just seem so eager and willing to share what's working for you, what has worked for you. In the email you originally sent me, I think it said you've been in business 45 years. That's incredible. Congratulations to you on that.
Well,
yeah.
Hey, 45 years ago, people didn't know what auto detailing was, Jim.
Right.
Nobody knew it. Every time you mentioned auto detailing, everybody thought you pinstripe cars.
Interesting. Yeah, let's dive right into that. And I love hearing people's stories and their journey and stuff like that. And I know you have some notes, and I want to cover all the notes you have.
Sure.
But I really want to hear, how it started.
Well, back in 1974, I was unemployed, and I just have a love of cars. I mean, 1969 GTO Judge, I've had Corvette, I've had a little bit of everything, and I was just a car guy. Well, back in 1974, Gerald Ford was president. The Miami Dolphins won the Super Bowl. Gas was $49.9 a gallon. The average income was $9,700. A house was $35,000, and a detail was $35. $35 for a detail back then.
Wow.
And
what
to
would
me,
that
at
have
that
included?
time, it was a showroom detail.
Okay. Wow.
Engine, undercoat the wheel wells, and I don't think I have to tell you, cars were twice as big back then.
Right. Yeah, a lot of flat panels.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the old lacquer paint jobs.
Ugh.
So I mean, there's a lot of the way everything's evolved over the years, and I watch these young guys coming up, and I just try to mentor these kids, and I try to tell them that, I'm going to be real honest, and if there's anything that anybody gets out of this whole conversation, I want it to be that the best detailer never wins. The best marketer does.
That is 100% true, and that is such the reoccurring theme that's been happening on the show. And detailers get really upset by that truth, right? And I say that truth versus that statement because it is the truth. It's like, and I've griped on guys before, like, you need to be a good detailer, but you need to be a better business person. And part of being a good business person is being an effective marketer because, and I think I regurgitated this statement when we talked before, but it's like, I think training is good and you need to learn your craft and know your craft, but you could be the best paint polisher on the face of the earth and know everything about the machine, the pad, the liquid, down to the chemical engineering behind every single one of those things.
Right.
But if you don't know how to get a customer to call you or a customer to come through your door, all that information doesn't really do you any good in a business context, right?
Absolutely. So you're going to forget about it because, like you said, you can be the best one in the world, but if people don't know who you are or how to get to you, where are you? So
what kind of from when you first started, did you always have a marketing mindset like that, or did that evolve kind of over the years?
No, I think it evolved over the years, but I was a hustler. I mean, I can remember I had one child at the time. My first daughter was born, and I sat at a typewriter day and night at a typewriter, and I sent letters to doctors, to lawyers, to CEOs with a phone book next. As I talk and I sit here now and I describe it, I can put myself in that moment, and I just never ever quit. And when you have that attitude that you're going to make it no matter what you do, you won't lose.
Right.
And I think that one of the things that people do today is they give up too easily. Oh, this
100%.
is too hard. Oh, I've been in business now for a year, and all of a sudden business dies off, especially during the winter. If you're in one of the northeast and you get like Buffalo, you get 150 inches of snow a year. How do you survive?
Right.
And I think it's just a matter of what you can do to survive. And we've always evolved to make things work for us. And we've always found a way to make things work. I used to close down during the winter. And when I did close down, I tried to be different and market ways that other people didn't. But I always tried to be cute at everything I did. And when somebody would call my machine, I would say the snow was blowing outdoors, the drifts were piling high. I could see my customers as they were passing by. So it didn't make much sense to open up every day, and by the end of the week, I would go home with no pay. Now, those are the kind of things that get you mileage.
Right.
So people don't say, oh, man, he's not open today because the weather's not nice. Well, they listen to that, and they go, man, that's cute. I got to leave Joe a message. Joe, I love your message. What can we do now? I've got a message on my answer machine at work. If you don't mind, I'm just going to play it for you real quick.
Go for it. Yeah.
It's so important. The
Let's
first thing somebody does, as you know, when they call, how's that phone answer? If you call me, I'm going to answer the phone, and I'm going to say, thanks for calling Joe Kennedy. How can I make this the best phone call of your day? That's how we answer our business phone call.
Because it
if
sets
you call
the tone.
And you get my machine,
right.
You're going to get this.
From the Joe Kennedy Detailing Studio in Buffalo, New York. Thanks for calling Western New York, premier 5-star auto detailer for over 45 years. We have over 100,000 satisfied customers. We're really busy right now and can't even hear the phone ring. If you'd like to leave your name and phone number, we'll get right back to you. Step up your expectations and let our dream team perform their magic on your vehicle. And don't ever forget it, Joe Kennedy, the price is right.
Now, there's not another person in the world who has an answer machine like that.
Right. That's awesome. That was amazing.
Everything that I do, I shouldn't say everything, but I would say most everything that I do and every idea that I'm going to share with your listeners, I have no problem with any of them.
Let's pick up. You had just played the voicemail message, and then you were saying no one else has that. So go ahead.
Okay. What I'm just trying to explain to people is what we want to do here is I want to give people ideas, and these ideas all work, and I have no problem with anybody sharing these, with their customers or anything that I've ever did. I'm going to give you some ideas, some of the things that I did. One of the things that I did, Jim, which was really, really, it's a winner. And anybody that does this, you can't lose. What it is, it's a DMV violation, and it looks exactly like you got a parking ticket. And what the DMV violation stands for dirty motor vehicles. And I have my logo on there, and it says this vehicle is in violation of the following. It says exceeds dirt limit overall, dull finish, dirty interior, failure to have your car detailed. And then it says check one of these. I wish to lose hundreds on a trade-in. I like rusty cars. I just like dirty cars. I would rather buy a new car. They then, on the bottom of this, it says save $50 off a detail. So I had people call me and they would swear at me. They'd be mad at me because they thought they had a ticket, and don't put stuff like this in my car. And then other people call and say, what a genius idea. That is something that worked for me probably. If I went out and I put 100 on a car, I could get a 10% return. And I don't think I have to tell you, that's huge.
Yeah, and that's significantly more effective than, because that's a lot of people do something like that, but not like that in the sense of the DMV idea, but in the sense that they go drop business cards on people's car, and that is just junk to people.
Right, and
it's nothing.
And and I know business cards just don't work like that. People are going to take your business card, 9 times out of 10, they won't look at it, pick it up off the windshield, and they'll drop it on the ground.
Right.
Another thing that I did, I've got 2 business cards, and one of the business cards, what I did, Jim, is I took just a regular stock card from Vistaprint. And it says, we give you the shirt off our back. And then I had my grandkids origami a dollar bill to look just like a T-shirt. And then I laminated these cards. Well, there's not one person in the world that will not only not throw away a laminated card, but throw away a card with a dollar bill laminated that looks like a T-shirt on the back.
Right, 100%. There's even
that's just another idea.
Yep. That was a great idea that something similar that I've heard before too, that I've actually seen some real estate agents in my area do, is take a dollar bill and staple it to their flyer, right? And then leave it on the porch. Yep. Because same idea. No one's going to throw away a dollar bill, right? It's only $1, exactly. And no one's going to throw it away.
It's only exactly. And everything you can do to get somebody's attention. That's what I just did.
Name of the game.
I think you're
exactly.
Going to get a kick out of it. Our business, we're in the next door neighbor app. We're right around the downtown area, and one of their cars was broken into. So I saw that come to my phone, and I said, "Oh, geez!" I said, "I'm just going to send them a little link, and I'm going to tell them that if you want to just bring the car down, bring it down real quick." And I said, "We'll vacuum all the glass out there." I had 5 separate people text me and say, "Thank you so much for such a generous offer."
Yep,
and you're always about being known.
Yes, being, if no one knows you, no business exists.
Right.
Exactly.
Get a phone number that stands out from anybody else. My phone number for my shop is 855-BUFF. That was probably one of the best things I ever did. If people are driving by my building, as long as they can pick up my phone number, they've got my numbers, and it's something that they can relate to. It's something that they can remember. So always try to get yourself a phone number that people are going to remember. I did a top 10, which was real cute, and I actually sent it to David Letterman. He signed it and sent it back to me. David Letterman, of course, we know was on the air for many, many years. He always did his top 10 every night, and this top 10. And again, people take this and you put this in a car. It's just a little postcard. People are going to read this. They're going to think it's cute. It's clever. And it just said, top 10 reasons to have your car detailed at Joe Kennedy's. Number 10, it's cheaper than buying a new car. Number 9, so people won't laugh at you when you're at a red light. Number 8, so your mother-in-law doesn't think you're a slob. Number 7, when passengers start writing messages on the grime of the inside of your windows. 6, when there's more French fries under your seat than there is in the McDonald's fryer. Number 5, your car shines less than the sun does in Buffalo. 4, there is more coffee spilled in your cup, in your car than in your cup. 3, the initial joy of the car has worn off. 2, you are too embarrassed to pick up a hitchhiker. And number 1, because nobody but nobody will clean and polish your vehicle the way that I will, and I guarantee it. And then again, I have a $50 off coupon attached to this.
That's
These are
brilliant,
things, Jimbo, that makes you stand out. I also, when President Clinton was president back in the 90s, he jogged every day, and he always wore different T-shirts. And when he wore different T-shirts, I had an idea. Why don't I send him my shirt and see if he will sign it and send it back to me? And he signed it. He sent it back to me, and I had that thing. I have it. I still have it. I don't have it hanging in my office anymore. Right. But I used to have it all framed and hanging in my office.
How'd you get it? How'd you get it to him?
I sent it via mail to the White House in care of President Bill Clinton. I wrote a letter. I said, I'm a small businessman in Buffalo, New York. I would love to have the president sign this and send it back to me. He signed it. He sent it back. I kept the original paper that he sent it back in. I sent the letter they sent back. Just so people say, oh, yeah, you just signed his name.
Right.
I had all the proof that was behind that. And
that's
I think
super cool.
That's important. You know what I started doing over the past couple of years, and I think that especially these young guys can relate to this. Everybody's into their phones and all that, and then, of course, people love their cars. But one thing we started doing was, as we were detailing someone's car, we would take some pictures of the progress, and then we would take some pictures of the finality. And for the finality, I always sent them a picture of their car, but it was covered. We put a car cover on a car when it's done. And then when the people come and they pick their car up, we tell them the experience, wow, that's what it says on the back of our shirts. And they go, wow. And then they feel it, and then they touch it, and then they smell it. They're using all their senses to get that vibe out of it. And when they you want them to get excited, and when they get excited about the car, I would also say, when you come, if you don't have sunglasses, I got a pair for you. And on the side of the sunglasses, it said Joe Kennedy. So these are just,
and you're creating that experience.
Yes, the whole thing. Getting your car detailed by us isn't a car detail; it's an experience, and that's what we really try to make it. We try to do it the way that nobody else ever does it, and we just try to think outside the box. And the unfortunate part, and I think most people that listen to your iPods are going to relate to, is I'm a small business owner. I've owned my own business all by myself for 45 years, okay? So for 45 years, every time I went to a board meeting, I was the only one there. I'm the one that laid in bed at night at 2 o'clock in the morning wondering how I was going to get that next customer.
Right.
And every one of us does that. I don't care how long you've been in business. I mean, after the winter and it slows down, you always go, oh, my God, I just hope we get back to normal. I hope we get back to normal. I mean, I've been doing this, like I say, for 45 years, and you just always hope that you're going to get back to normal.
Right.
I put a Joe Kennedy window sticker on every single car. That's my signature, that we have taken care of that car. People love when people sign something for them. I have had one person in all the years I've been putting stickers on that asked me not to put a sticker on. They said, I just don't like stickers on my car, Joe. It's not about you. It's about me.
Interesting.
And that sticker just says this car was professionally polished by Joe Kennedy's.
And just to get into the weeds on that, how big is it? Like the oil change sticker on the inside of the window, or is this something? Yes. Okay, got it.
It looks just like an oil change sticker, but we put it on the side window, so when you're at a light, someone can actually see that sticker.
Oh, okay.
There's not. You know what? This is another great idea. Matter of fact, there's a couple of detailers in the area that make fun of me for doing this, but what I do, every time we take a picture of a car, if you go to my Facebook page and look at our work, my sign is always, always, always next to that picture. Mm-hmm. I never want someone to show a picture of their car that was just detailed without someone having to see my name.
Yep, smart.
Now, we don't do this anymore because we did this before Facebook, but probably for 25 years, every time we detailed somebody's car, we took a picture of it. We would then go to Walgreens. We would have the film developed, and we would then have it blown up to postcard size. And my wife would write a handwritten thank you note about that picture and thanking them for choosing Joe Kennedy. And I have people say, Joe, make sure you send me a picture of my car. People put it on their fridges. They put it next to their computer. They had it on their desk at work. I mean,
do you do that
every
anymore?
place
Do you
could
do that
think of.
anymore? Because a lot of people ask me about doing something like that, and they're not sure where to go to. And I would imagine
It's a great.
Uh-huh.
No, it's still a great idea. It's just that we're very involved in Facebook now, and we try to get all our pictures online. We send it to people. We try to get people. I never ask anybody directly for a review, but indirectly, I do. I always say, you can always ask a question without asking the question, and that's what we try to do.
100%. Yep, love that.
And I think that, and that's just when, we got a lot of new guys. I mentor about a half dozen people out there. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I had a guy who was really struggling. He said, Joe, this is the time of the year. I'm supposed to be busy and all that. He said, I hadn't had a car like in 8 days. And I said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm putting, flyers on cars. I put stuff on Facebook. I said, man, you're not going to get anything from Facebook. He goes, what happens if I boost a post? I said, how many times have you ever boosted a post and got any work? He said, I think I got 1 or 2 cars.
Right.
I said, are you happy with 1 or 2 cars? He said, no. I said, I want you to do something. I said, I want you to try this. I guarantee it's going to work. He goes, what? I said, I want you to give away a free interior cleaning with every polish. I said, how much are you getting for a polish? He said, $180. I said, how much you get for an interior cleaning? He goes, $125. I said, how much did you make in the last 8 days? He goes, oh, man, I can't give away a free interior cleaning. I said, how much did you make in the last 8 days? He said, nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. Okay, the last 8 days, you could have made $1,400 if you would have just listened to me. And he goes, oh, my God, I never thought. You give somebody a free interior cleaning, I'm going to tell you something, 9 times out of 10, they're going to take you up on that offer. And nobody else is doing it. Because I said, what's your competition? He goes, well, every time I come up with a price, he said, they're just lowering their price to beat me. So I said, you want to really, blow them away? You do it for nothing.
Do it for free.
You do it for nothing. And I have not talked to him since he did it. He told me he was going to launch it June 1st. I don't know how June 1st is tomorrow. I don't know why he waited till June 1st. I would have done it the next day, but that's me. One thing I did last year, and
what's so interesting about that is, and I think you nailed it, but I just want to reiterate it because I think it's important. Is that people are so worried about giving services away for free when they're just starting, right? But look at even how you who have been established and do well for yourself after through 45 years are still willing to do stuff for free, like vacuum out those people's car because you know how effective it is, and the pain, or not the pain, but the barrier to get that customer is a lot lower when you're willing to do something for free. And really, if you look at the value of that customer over their lifetime, or your lifetime, that's way worth an interior, a quick vacuum, any of that stuff. And I think us as detailers sometimes don't have that long-term mindset, kind of like you hinted at earlier. We get over it after a year because we're not looking long-term. But if we start taking that long-term mindset, a one-time free interior detail that's going to take us a couple hours is really a super profitable thing to do, even for free initially.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to reiterate that. You
whole
nailed
thing
it.
Right. Jimbo, it's about getting the customer to talk about you. Yep. I just sent out a press release, and matter of fact, what I want to do is I'm trying to get in touch with the county clerk. And anytime someone comes, and our motor vehicles is huge here, and anybody that has a problem with their headlights, I want to keep our county one of the safest counties in New York State, and we will do a free headlight restoration for anybody and everybody that wants it. Now, I will get news feed like you never ever could have imagined with something like this.
Yep.
And it's all about
it's a great idea.
Getting that free publicity. We're working right now with the top country radio station in Buffalo, and they are the #1 station in the morning and in the evening, and we're looking for the dirtiest car in Buffalo. And what we're going to do is we're going to have them send in pictures to my Facebook page and to the station's Facebook page, and they have to like and share my page, and then what we're going to have, and they have to like and share the Buffalo station's page. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the listeners vote on it. And then what we're going to do is we are then going to award free details, but anybody that loses, I'm going to have their email address, and I'm going to send them a coupon to get a detail.
Yes.
See,
a runner-up prize.
That's how you Right. That's how you get something without ever getting their information.
Right.
And you give something.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you what I did. You're going to love this one. I was in bed the other night about 2 weeks ago, and I said, I've got almost 2,000 email addresses. I said, I'm going to come up with a blanket email and said $100 referral. And I wrote a letter. It says, thank you so much for sending a customer to us. I greatly appreciate it. We always appreciate when you mention our name when you have your car detail. The response, I send it out to everybody. Now, I'm sure sometimes someone said, you should go to Joe Kennedy to get your car detail. So it's not directly someone came in and said, yeah, Jane Smith told me to get my car detail. That's why I'm here. But we sent out this blanket email, and we got a minimum of 25 cars.
Wow.
A minimum. And it cost me nothing. Nothing, Jim. Nothing.
That's incredible.
So the whole thing is try to find out how you can make money without spending money. And that's the hardest thing for these young detailers to figure out. And
so how do they figure that out? Like, obviously they can listen to this podcast over and over.
Absolutely. I recommend it.
Me too. But how do they get in that mindset, or obviously I sense that you were kind of gifted with this marketing mind, where you can just kind of come up with ideas on the spot. But is it trial and error and just kind of putting yourself in that mindset of just kind of thinking this way in general, or what are some practical tips that those young guys that you're talking about can start implementing? Do they follow you on Facebook and kind of maybe copy someone until they start getting the hang of it? How could they do that practically?
That's a great question. I'm going to tell you, I've got a 3-word answer, which you're going to love. You got to think like a consumer. When you think like a consumer, what is going to make, if I send something to Tom Jones, what's going to make Tom Jones call me? I always think that way. I never think of, because my business isn't about me. My business is about my customers.
Yes.
And you got to take yourself out of the equation. I know a lot of these guys don't do that today. And it's a huge mistake they're going to make. And down the road, they're going to say, I don't know why I'm not in business anymore. But you got to think, okay, what's going to make me pick up that phone and call, whether it be Joe Kennedy's or Jimbo's, to make that phone call that day to get my car done. Mm-hmm. And I've always just been good at coming up with something that nobody else has ever done.
And I mean, you nailed it.
I had a guy come into me that was a marketer. Mm-hmm. And he said, when he was all done, he said, I don't need you. He goes, you don't need me. He goes, I need you. And that's the honest to God truth.
Yeah.
He left. He goes, it's just amazing what you've done. And again, you got to read everything. I've read every book on marketing. I've been to Tony Robbins twice. I try to stay educated. And then, I'll be honest with you, my belief system is that I always can find something that's going to work. I mean, what I did is I actually have my own ad agency built right into my detail shop. So every time I buy anything, if I'm going to purchase advertising, you save 15%. You always get a 15% agency discount. So there's just so many ways that you can get around from spending money and still making money.
And I think that's,
we just get,
like you said, think like a consumer, and so because we're always being marketed to, right? So just if you kind of think about, the clothes that you buy, or where you go to eat, or where you go get coffee, or where you live, or what movie theater you go to, and you start paying attention to the things that are working on you, you could just reverse engineer that and spin it to your detailing business, and and then it's almost a surefire way to at least land someone. And then, like you said, trial and error, testing, maybe not trial and error, but testing, and reading, and at least people that are into podcasts are avid consumers of education.
Right. And I think that's they should listen to every podcast. They should read every book. Marketing. I probably have 20 books on marketing, and not one thing that I did I ever read in a marketing book. But it always taught me to think outside the box.
Right.
And that's where I was blessed. And I'm going to tell you something. I do things. This is going to blow you away. Now we got Uber. We haven't had Uber. Everybody else had Uber for the past 3 years. We finally have Uber. You come into my business, you need a ride. I'm going to pay for your Uber. You need a ride and you got to go a distance. Yep. I'm going to give you a free loaner car. You can't go anywhere and get a free loaner car. You can't go anywhere and get a free Uber ride. So these are just all doing things that your competition doesn't do.
Yep.
And they're going to talk, oh my God, he paid for my Uber.
Right.
Those are things that are just stand tall compared to what anybody else has done. I always say if you do what everybody else does, you're going to be where everybody else is.
100%. And you're going to blend right in.
I never – exactly. And that's what most people – I mean, I think in our particular area, we probably have, and I'm guessing, 50 detail shops minimum. If you Google auto detailing, Buffalo, New York, Joe Kennedy comes up number one. I don't pay for it. I don't do anything. We were Googled last month 1,300% more than any other detail shop. I get those facts from Google. I don't go out and make stuff like this up. But it's about staying out there. It's about staying competitive. One thing I did, and I didn't even know if I'd talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it because it works. A lot of people in our area were doing Groupon, and I'm not a fan of Groupon. I never was until I did it. We have sold over 1,000 Groupons, and over 90% were new customers. Now, granted, you have to upsell. If you don't upsell, you're not going to make a lot of money on it, but you're still going to get somebody else through the door talking about you. Number one, we have a 5-star rating on Groupon. We have sold over 1,000 Groupons, and we probably upsell a good 75% of them.
So let's stop right there for a sec, because I want to kind of get some practical information on this. So what is your Groupon offer?
Okay, my Groupon. Listen, these are some of the things that'll blow you. My Groupon offers an interior and an exterior detailing. But listen to what I'm giving. Okay, we clean the inside. Okay, basic cleaning and all that. If you got dog hair, or certain, extenuating circumstances where it's extra dirty or something, we charge more. Okay? Now, for $99, we're going to clean your interior. And on the outside, I give you a car wash to my competitor.
Okay.
I buy these car washes at a discounted rate, and
right.
I give you a car wash to my competitor, and they have 8 locations. So no matter where you come from in the Western New York area, you're going to find my competitor's car wash.
So are you going to be shampooing? Are you going to be shampooing the mats and seats like that, or is this a?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
got it. Full shampoo.
Yeah,
okay.
We shampoo the mats. We give you a basic interior cleaning, but what we also do, we charge, and you have to pay us directly. We charge an additional $39.95 for trucks, SUVs, and vans. And it always says certain restrictions apply. If you come to me with a van that hadn't been cleaned in 5 years, you're not using a Groupon.
Right.
You're just not going to, you can get your money back. You can use it towards another car.
Sure.
But we get the additional $39.95. I get that directly.
Got it.
All right.
Okay.
So if we did 20 Groupons in a week, which, we can easily do 20 Groupons in a week, I'm making an extra $800 off my Groupon before I do anything. And what's nice about Groupon, they pay me every 2 weeks. I have a check going into my account that I never expected every 2 weeks.
Right.
And like I said, I wasn't but I'm a huge believer in them now because it brought me so much business. I had worked every single day this past winter where I would have been out of business here in the winter. I mean, just nothing.
What is the I don't know if you track this or not, but out of the amount of people that actually buy the Groupon, how many of those, or maybe even a rough guesstimate, what percentage of those people actually claim the coupon, I guess, from Groupon?
Are you talking about the people that actually buy it?
Yeah, out of the people that actually buy it.
Oh, yeah, I would say the ones that we do, we're really high. Matter of fact, we were actually told that we're one of the highest there is.
Got it.
We're 88%.
Got it. Okay.
They give you great figures. They tell me how many impressions go out every week, everything.
Got it.
And they even tell me what zip code they come from, Jim.
Got it. Okay. Wow, that's cool. And then what's the process to upsell that customer? Because I guess the biggest counter argument to doing a Groupon is that you can't really upsell those people, or they're cheap, or so. What is because everything you're giving is extremely valuable, but I just want to I think that this is such a good idea for a lot of people. When it on the onset,
Absolutely.
it doesn't look like a good idea, but it can be turned into a good idea. So I just want to give some really practical steps. So literally, someone could, we talked about, kind of copying until you could figure it out on your own. So what is your, maybe not exactly, because obviously you have competitors in your area that may or may not listen to this, but what is what does your upsell look like? So I buy a $99 interior detail. Obviously, maybe I have an SUV, so there's an extra $40 on that for you. Give them the car wash,
Right.
and then what does your upsell process look like?
I say, hey, Mr. Smith, how are you today? Joe Kennedy here. Oh, nice meeting you, Joe. I just want you to know exactly what you're getting for the Groupon. I said, I'll go over everything with you. Now, on the outside, all it's getting is a wash, and we give you a coupon for this. You're going to get it washed at the local car wash over there. Okay, I understand. But, we just went through winter. What about a polish? If you get it polished today, I'll do it for you half price. Well, Joe, what's a polish? I said, well, do you want a level 1 or do you want a level 2? And he said, well, what do you think? And they always will say, what do you think? I'll say, well, no, what am I, stupid? I'm going to tell them you get the level 1. Of course, you get the best. And they'll say, well, what's that cost? Well, if you get it done today, I say, my polish is normally, $2.50. I'll do it for you for $1.25. So now we got money from the Groupon. We got money for the SUV charge, and we got the $1.25. So if my detail normally sells for $2.99, right now I'm still at about $2.25. But what do you pay to get a new customer?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
A new customer.
Yep.
I mean, people will pay $100 to get a new customer.
Yep.
So when you do it that way, okay, I had a lady come in the other day. We do a Groupon just for a hand wax, and the hand wax is nothing but a glorified wash job.
Yep.
It's just to get people in there. We charge $69.95 for that.
Through Groupon.
This lady comes in. She's got a 1999 Saab. It's black. She's got some scratches on it and all that. And she says, Joe, what will my car look like? I said, now, if you think it's going to look like the cars on Facebook, it's not. I said, now, you've been here before. So I said, I just want to let you know that. And she goes, no. She goes, well, can you get these scratches out? I said, well, I'll give you my best shot. I never say I can get a scratch out because you don't know until you hit it with a buffer what's going to come out.
Right.
So I said, I'll give you my best shot. So she said, what will it cost me? I said, I'll tell you what. I will work on those scratches. I'll compound that whole door for you. I'll work on those scratches. It'll only cost you $199. I never say additional. You never say anything that she already spent money. So now she's thinking, I get my car polished. We did nothing on the inside. She paid $69.95 for that, and she came in and spent another $200 with me, and I got it within 10 seconds.
Wow.
And without that Groupon, maybe she never would have come in.
Right.
And
exactly.
Now, I would tell you something. I can do it better than my guys can do it. Okay, now I've got that knack, and people, I got the charisma and I got the enthusiasm.
Right.
That's what Nick, my general manager, doesn't, and because he's still learning. He's only 30 years old, but he's been with me for 12 years. But what I'm trying to say is, you put everything you got into. You give him your charisma, and you give him your enthusiasm, and that is going to take you mileage like you never ever could have imagined.
Right.
You're selling yourself, and once someone believes in you, they'll let you do anything you want to their car.
Exactly, and I think a lot of people get hung up on the Groupon thing because they're worried about the one-time hit. But you really got to think about, the customer acquisition cost. What would you have to pay to normally get that customer, versus what you're going to make on them. And like you said, you got a check coming through the bank, that you weren't normally expecting. And you're still making, if you can upsell them, you're making money on it right away. Got the best of both worlds.
I know. And it's just one more person talking about you. And when you go to, every day I get from Groupon, it tells me if somebody, we're 5-star on Groupon and we're 5-star on Facebook. And to me, there's nothing more important. If I'm not 5-star, if you can't make me 5-star, I don't want your money. And I say that, and I mean that. And what I try to do is I follow the Groupon every day, and I always go to and see who made that comment. A lady yesterday, she says to me, she goes, better than I ever thought. Great job. I highly recommend these people. And then what I'll do is I'll take like maybe 10 at a time, and then I put those on my Facebook page, and then everything will say 5-star and everything that they wrote. But I never let people see that it says Groupon because I don't like to let people know we do Groupon unless they already know we do Groupon.
Right.
So again, it's about doing little things like that. A couple other things that I did, I'm not doing it now, but I did, and this works phenomenal, is you want to keep people loyal to you. And one of the ways you keep them loyal, we did a buff card. And after someone had 6 polishes. We did or 6 details. We did their 7th free. I said, who wants to give away? But every year that guy keeps coming back. He's not going to go anywhere. He's already got 4 punches.
Right.
He's gonna come back for that 5th, 6th
Yep.
punch.
Yep.
And what I did when I punched the card, just so nobody could just go out there and punch it, I actually had a punch made that had a little car on it. So in other words, they just weren't going to go get a circle punch and say, "Oh, I'm all punched out now. I get my free one." And another thing I did, which people love car shows and they love their sports in Buffalo. We did a key tag with the Buffalo Bills schedule on there, and it was just like, whether if you belong to one of the gyms or something, that little key fob tag, like I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that had every game on there. And people always say, "Oh, can I have 3-4 for my friends?" But on the other side, it said Joe Kennedy. You're advertising Joe Kennedy before you're advertising the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
Another thing that I did, which people loved, and they'd always ask for more, I did a poker chip. And it said Joe Kennedy's, and it said, "Don't gamble with your vehicle." And on the other side, it said $50 off. So instead of giving somebody a card for $50 off, a bounce back coupon, I gave them a poker chip. And then they go and they would show everybody. But let's just get back to the Groupon for 1 second.
Yep.
When somebody leaves me that used a Groupon, we do everything in our power for them not to buy another Groupon. I'm going to give them a bounce back coupon. I'm going to email them in 3 to 6 months and let them know it's time to get their card done again. Mm-hmm. And then what I do is I tell them, I'll give you the Groupon price, because now I'm not sharing the profits with Groupon.
Right, because Groupon takes about 50%.
Yeah, I do really good with Groupon. I have a better percentage than most people do.
Got it.
Because of my ratings and all that, I'm good. But most people do have to give up like 50%.
Got it.
But again, when I first started this, I go, "Oh my God, am I hurting myself?" And even my manager said the other day, he said, "Would you ever think of getting rid of Groupon?" I said, "You got to be crazy. There would be no reason in the world why I would ever get rid of Groupon when it brings me so much business." Again, I said, well, it's up to you to upsell them. If you don't upsell them, we're out of business. So
right.
As long as you upsell them and you keep doing that, we're going to be fine.
And what do you think your rate of upsell, like your percentage of being able to upsell is?
I would say, of course,
roughly,
we've got to watch how many we upsell. If we have 2 or 3 Groupons in a day, and then we have some other paying customers, I never want to book too much just to make the money. So if you say, "Look, well, we can polish your car today for an extra $150," and you don't have time to polish and you do a crappy job, I don't want to do it. So it's not about the money, but those are the kind of things. You got to give them that bounce back coupon, and just to make sure that they're going to come to you before they're going to go someplace else. Another thing, firemen and policemen love clean cars. Now, firemen, that's all they're ever doing in the firehouse. I go down to the firehouse. We have one not right down. I give them stuff to take care of the fire truck with. Then these guys all come in. I give them a card that says on the card it'll say, let me see here, "Put your hose down today. Let us use ours," and it'll say maybe $50 off a detail. Okay, I'll go to the police station and I'll give them a dozen donuts. There's not a cop out there that doesn't like donuts. We'll give them a dozen donuts. And they'll say, "You don't have to put a gun to our head for us to do a great job on your detail. There's $50 off." It's just, little things like that. Here's another thing that I did, Jim, that is just really, really great marketing. And this I've been doing for years, and I would do it again tomorrow if I needed to do it. I did what they call a shine and dine. And what I did, I went to several restaurants here, and I didn't go to chains. I didn't go to, your Olive Gardens or places like that. I went to well-known local restaurants owned by families. Like we have a steakhouse here. It's called Scotch and Sirloin. I already knew they were doing a Groupon, so I knew that they would wheel and deal with me. I went in, I explained who I was. I said, "Oh, Joe, I've heard of you and all that." And I said, "Look, I'd like to buy these. I'd like to buy $50 gift certificates from you." And they said, "Well, what do you want to pay?" I said, "I'd like to pay $20 a piece. But what I'm going to do is every time I advertise, you're going to be part of my advertising." So what I did with them, I said, "Look, I'll tell you what I'll do. You sell them to me for $20. I'll put your name first. I'll put my name second. and we're going to do a shine and dine. And I said, our reputation is at stake. And it says, let us prove that, we're the number one polisher in Erie County or something like that, just to that effect. And there wasn't one time that if I sent a card out like that I wouldn't be able to get 25 cars. Like nothing.
That's incredible.
And I would usually buy 50 certificates at a time.
That's
so
incredible.
That is something you go and you wheel and deal. Now, we have a real well-known Italian restaurant, and I went to them, and I did the exact same thing with them. Now, I did have to pay $25 for their certificate, but it was well worth it, because this is, if I name the restaurant to anybody in Erie County, in our county, they're all going to know who this place is. If you mention the steak place to anybody in Erie County, they're going to know who it is. So it wasn't like I was using, people that just opened up in business, or
right.
It was all about me being well-known, dealing with somebody well-known. And I've done, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and essentially if you're looking at the cost of acquisition for that customer, you're at $25. So really it's not that much at all.
Not at all. And I could put that on Facebook. I'm going to do a thing right now. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm working on a Father's Day package. And, I don't know if I mentioned this to you either. I'm trying to get as many likes as I can, of course, on my Facebook page, because I want as many people every day to have to look at my cars as I can. So last week, you're going to like this. Last week I did a different one. I went to the local, we have a franchised ice cream store here. It's called Anderson's. And everybody knows who Anderson's is. They've been here since 1959. So everybody knows who they are. And I did a billboard, and it said, your wife is hot. And then down here it said, free gift card at Joe Kennedy's with a like and share. And I had so much publicity with that. And just like and share my page, and you get a free gift card to go get some free ice cream over at Anderson's. The one I did before that, which was about a month ago, and we probably got 100 new likes, I gave away a free car wash to my competitor. Free car wash to my competitor just for liking my page.
Wow.
And people go, this guy's crazy. But no, I'm not crazy. This is what works. Because when you come in to get that card, I'm giving you a coupon to come into Joe Kennedy's to get your car detailed. I made you come to me. And it didn't cost me a lot of money.
Right. Gosh.
So I mean, I could go on and on and on. I have the
thought,
like, are all
yeah, I have the thought, like, if someone, this is definitely going to be an episode that people are going to want to listen to over and over and over, because I feel like if you just take a handful, I mean, you've been nonstop with ideas, which is phenomenal.
Yes.
And if guys did just a handful of those ideas, they'd definitely be in business at least 45 years.
Absolutely. And, and tell them, you got to fake it till you make it. And
That's true.
I've always told everybody, I don't care who it is, and I'm including you, that I'm the best detailer out there. No, I'm the best marketer out there.
Right.
And I know that.
Gosh,
and
that is
I am
such
blessed
the
to be
truth.
there. I thank God for that, and I say that and I mean that. But do I strive to be the best every day? Absolutely.
Of course.
Get a great slogan. Have a great logo. Have a great phone number. These are the things that are just so important. I came up with this about 3 years ago. Car looking rough, call 855-BUS. That's all over the place. I don't care where you... and it works.
That's awesome.
People
Right.
love it.
Right.
Car looking rough, call 855-BUS.
Right.
And anybody that wants to go and check out my Facebook page, we're putting stuff on there all the time.
Yeah, give us your social. Give us your... how can people find your pages and stuff?
Just Google Joe Kennedy Auto. You'll see Facebook will come up there. Just hit on the Facebook page. 3 other things I did which were great.
Yep.
One last year, I sponsored every car show in Erie County. And what I did is I gave away the shiniest car in Buffalo Award. And I'm going to tell you something. I got more mileage off that because everybody wanted the shiniest car in Buffalo Award. And
Right.
I'm talking some of these shows, there's 1,000 cars at. These are huge shows. I never did a show where there was less than 100.
Right.
I had people to see the award. That was phenomenal. When I was sending out mailers, I did an IRS notice. And what I did is I took an envelope and I stamped an IRS notice. The first thing someone does, I call this shock advertising. The first thing somebody does when they get home is they look at their mail. And it's the IRS notice. What are you going to do? You're going to open it up. If I send you a postcard, just go in the garbage.
Right.
You're going to open it up. And it said, irresistible, relentless shine. One other thing I did, free Viagra. And then they'd open it up and it said, just want to let you know what's up at Joe Kennedy's. This stuff works, Jimbo.
But you're focusing on getting eyeballs and grabbing attention, and that's what it's all about. And I love how you wrapped it. You wrapped it all back up from beginning to end, saying, and that's what the title of this episode is going to be: the best detailer doesn't win. And I think exactly like you said, though, you got to strive to be the best, because once you get the customer in the door, if you suck, then there's a big problem, right?
Right.
Then you're constantly going to be spinning your wheels. Right, but the best marketer does. I love
never,
that.
ever make an excuse. There's no excuses. I don't never tell I tell my guys, there's no excuse. I don't want to hear it. We just make the customer happy.
Right.
I don't care what you tell me.
Yep.
We're going to take it. A guy told me one time, and of course, you always, a guy told me one time that he was missing a golf club. I'm like, guy, we'd never take anything out of a guy's car. He called me 2 weeks later. Geez, I found my golf club. I'm so sorry. We just don't make excuses. If I had to, I would have bought the guy another golf club. These are the things, and this is the way you're going to stay in business for 45 years.
I think you just summed it up greatly, but is there any last words, any last encouragement, any last idea that you want to share before we take off?
I think just don't give up. If you have it in you and you have that desire to succeed, Michael Jordan was told all the time he was in high school he was never going to make it. Let's look at Kentucky Fried Chicken guy, Colonel Sanders. He was 67 years old when he opened up Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yep.
Everybody can make it. You just got to have that burning desire inside you to never give up. I'm 67 years old, and I have more passion than most 20-year-olds. and I still have that same passion.
It's oozing through the phone line. I love it, and that's why I was so happy you reached out to me, and I'm grateful to I think it was your brother that let you know about the podcast, and when we had that great conversation a week and a half ago or so, I was like, man, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be awesome. So I really appreciate your time and your energy and your willingness. Really, you could keep all this inside yourself and not throw it out there. So I really, really appreciate it. And I know on behalf of all the listeners that may listen to this, we really appreciate your ideas and your willingness to come on the show and share them.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to. And you do a great job, Jimbo. And I love your humbleness. It's just great. When I listened to a couple of I said, man, this guy is so humble. He's always patting everybody else on the back. He's not looking at any credit. And, I give all my honor and glory to God, and I thank him for giving me the great ideas that he does.
Amen. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening to that episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast, episode 337. I want to invite you over to check out JimboDaily.com. Hopefully, at the time of this recording is a few days before, but I just had another photo shoot to add a few more products onto the JimboDaily.com website. One is a towel flip, kind of for more rinseless washes to wipe it, and it's a really efficient, effective way to dry a car or even wipe wax off a car, because the towel is sewn in ways that you can divide it and get all I think it's like 16 sides out of this one towel. We have that. We have a new wash mitt that is similar to a lot of the blended microfiber wash mitts that you're seeing out there, the blue and the white and the red and the white. This one happens to be red and white. The big difference with this one is it has a slit for your hand to go in if you like putting your hand in a wash mitt, but what it doesn't have is a cuff. So if you don't like putting your hand in a wash mitt, the cuff is really a waste of space and a way to scratch the car, and this doesn't have that, but you're still getting that red and white blended microfiber on that. And then applicators. Oh man, some of the most exciting applicator that I'm launching on the Jimbo Daily site right now is the Saver applicator from Autofiber. And why it's called the Saver applicator is, and I'm going to do a video on this, if you cut the applicator open, on the back side of the applicator is actually, and this was Ian's invention over at Autofiber, he had glued a water-resistant backing to the microfibers before the foam. I'm going to do a video on my YouTube channel to show this, but what it enables you to do, or doesn't enable it to do, is for the coating. It's a coating applicator. It doesn't enable the liquid from the coating to seep through into the foam of the applicator, which just sucks. It really just sucks up product. So it actually is a barrier that the coating and the liquid from the coating stays on the surface of the microfiber applicator without soaking in. So I'm guessing you're going to be able to save at least half of your liquid from a coating. So that's going to double your savings on that. So you can pick up those applicators, and also a double-sided, it's a gray and blue-sided bigger applicator, foam applicator again. So check out those. Those are just the new goodies launched on Jimbo Daily, but there's a ton of other stuff on there. The Jimbo kit of towels, which I've been getting phenomenal feedback on, and all that. So invite you over to check out jimbodaily.com. All right, thanks for listening. See you on the next one.